And good morning. I'm Carol Costello. Thanks so much for joining me. Donald Trump trying to lock down Indiana today. Doors open now for his noon rally, but this is from last night, just hours after picking up what he called the greatest endorsement in the history of Indiana. That would be from legendary basketball coach Bobby Knight.
You folks are taking a look at the most prepared man in history to step in as President of the United States. There has never been a presidential candidate prepared to the length that this man is. There will be no president who has ever had a better relationship with our military, nor they with them.
Ted Cruz is trying to make sure that relationship never happens, announcing former rival Carly Fiorina as his running mate in a bid to head off Trump's rise in Indiana. So let's talk about that with the former co-chair for the Carly Fiorina presidential campaign, Charlie Gerow. Good morning. Welcome back, Charlie.
Carol, great to be with you again.
Nice to have you here. So Donald Trump has Bobby Knight speak for him. Ted Cruz picks Carly Fiorina as his VP choice. Which do you think will get most attention from Indiana voters?
I've always been a big fan of the General Bobby Knight, but Carly Fiorina brings so much to Ted Cruz. She's a tireless campaigner, a woman with great business experience, a business leader, and most important, she's the person that everybody wants to see debate Hillary Clinton. If this works out, she'll get that chance. America will love it.
Carly Fiorina will get the chance. I mean, she's the VP. Hillary Clinton's running for president.
But as you know, the vice presidential candidate, Carol, is the person that is used as the quote-unquote attack dog in these campaigns. So it would be Carly doing her best, sending the message about why Hillary shouldn't get the White House.
Okay, I understand. So she's going to be the attack dog for Ted Cruz. But I think Ted Cruz does a pretty good job of that himself, and it doesn't seem to be working at the moment.
Well, Indiana is pivotal, and if he does well next week, and I think that the Fiorina selection for Cruz gives him a boost going into Tuesday. If it works for him on Tuesday, it's a different game than it is today.
Do you think Indiana voters really know or are familiar with Carly Fiorina?
They know her, and most important, Carol, as they get to know her, they will love her. The one thing about Carly Fiorina is she is incredibly likable. People just plain like Carly Fiorina, and that's an obviously very, very important element to any campaign, but particularly right now for the Cruz campaign. I think she's a big boost for him.
Well, here's the thing. You know, Ted Cruz has to do well in California, too, right? He has to do well in Indiana and California to survive. And Fiorina is from California. Californians are familiar with Fiorina, but she lost her bids for both governor and senator there. So why would she even resonate in California?
Well, she lost for the U.S. Senate in California, Carol, and she lost to Barbara Boxer, somebody that most Republicans didn't think could be even challenged. And Carly gave her the toughest challenge imaginable. I mean, California's a pretty blue state, but in the primary, the Republican voters there know Carly, they like her, she will be a big help.
So I just want to ask you about the evangelical vote, because that's very important for Ted Cruz, especially in the state of Indiana, which is why he's really campaigning hard there, right? But in Pennsylvania, Ted Cruz didn't win the evangelical vote. Donald Trump did. Why was that?
I'm not sure, Carol. That, to be very blunt, is still a little bit of a mystery to me. Donald Trump won across the board here in my state of Pennsylvania, including in some areas where not many people expected him to do well. So the Trump phenomenon is very real, and in some ways it's difficult to explain. But both Ted Cruz and Carly Fiorina are personally very dedicated evangelical Christians, and I think that in the Hoosier state, that really helps them.
So if Ted Cruz does lose Indiana, should he just stop?
Well, that's obviously a call for him to make, but I think the path forward becomes more difficult if he loses, and especially if he loses significantly in Indiana. But if he does well in Indiana, California coming ahead, together with the other states on June 7th, make it a really different game than it looks like today.
All right. Charles Gerow, thank you so much for being with me this morning. I appreciate it.
Great to be with you. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome.